We are back talking about how Republicans win, and we ask you to chime in on a host of topics, including social issues like birth control, same-sex marriage, and many of you share the sentiments of Bob DeMuth. He writes this. He says, these issues are so far down on the list of things that must be triaged in order to save our country. You know, Sammy, I don't know that I agree with Bob. I think these issues still resonate with some people. I'm not saying they're as important as jobs, but what's your take from your community as to whether or not these things matter anymore?
Truth must never be sacrificed on the altar of political or cultural expediency. This party must stand convicted to speak truth, but reconcile that truth with compassion. These values, these social values, these are the values that stem from our Judeo-Christian value system. The very system that stands as the central core of African-American leaders, churches, and Latino churches. So if the GOP says, we're not going to discuss social issues, what you call social issues, what we call spiritual issues, moral issues, you will alienate even more the very communities you're attempting to gain and engage.
David, you're shaking your head. You don't think so?
I think we're painting too black and white a picture of a reality in America.
I got to mention brown, too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
White, brown, yeah, we'll throw them all in there. Throw them all in there. We're painting too simple a picture. First of all, conservatism is a movement. Republican is the party. Social issues matter to some, but not all voters. More and more the youth, and I'm going down a train of thought that's happened since the 80s. It was cool to have a black friend, then it was cool to have a girl who was a friend, then it was cool to have a gay friend. Now nobody cares what your friend is. This is American culture. It doesn't make it bad or good. We have to have some sort of moratorium on giving our opponent the weapons to use against us. Doesn't mean that we give up our values.
David, hold on a second. Here's what the reality is. Of the 80 million people who self-identify as evangelical Christians in this country, 50% of them didn't even register to vote. And of those who did, only 50% of the registered voted. If 10% more of the evangelicals had voted for Romney, we would be talking about President Romney. When you give those people no reason to go and you take their motivation away,
Governor, the only reason is not the social issues. And by the way, it's their fault.
All right, let me throw one more at you, though, David. Every social conservative in Congress votes fiscally conservative. Every one of them. Not every fiscal conservative votes socially conservative, but every fiscal conservative, by a thorough vote count, votes consistently conservative across the board. Congresswoman, let me let you jump in on, does it matter? Are you still hearing from constituents for whom these issues matter at all?
Oh, I absolutely hear from people about these issues because they see it as the fabric of America. I say, you can look at 5 things: faith, family, freedom, hope, and opportunity. And you keep that underpinning strong, and you're going to keep your focus on freedom, free people, free markets. People understand that political freedom and economic freedom are linked, and you have to have that total picture. I think it's important for us to talk about it in the right way. I think it is important for us to have the right tone, to have the right messengers, and it is important to keep those issues very focused in the forefront. Of course, jobs in the economy are issue number 1. Obamacare is issue number 2. But making certain that we preserve our first principles, that always comes out when people talk about
as a woman, as the only other woman on the panel, I think the Congresswoman makes a great point. America will always be about family. But it's the way the Republican Party and conservatives are talking about social issues that bothers me as a woman. And we're alienating women that we need to bring back into the fold.
Right.
And what happened? Romney lost the woman vote by 10 percentage points. And I'm convinced it was because, to David's point, the left does a great job of putting us in a box. War on women. You know this all too well, Governor Huckabee. So what we need to do is, why don't we have more women that face the party talking about how women are the ones who usually are making sure the home fires are burning and keeping physical house in order as well? Why don't we have women talking about life is awesome, as I can be a mom, I can be a career woman, and I can protect life. But where we lose is when we talk about and vilify those who make other choices than preserving the life of a baby.
We're running out of time. Let me just say this. I don't think we want to vilify anybody.
That's what we're failing.
I think that's not the point.
Yeah.
but neither should we ever apologize for believing
Absolutely not.
something, and nor should we let the Democrats and
No.
the far left
I agree.
give us a lexicon and tell us what we can and can't
Right, so
say.
let more women say,
I got no problem with
preserve
that.
the life
Panel,
of
thank you very much. I'm going to have to end it here because that's just the way time works. Up next, what does the head of the party say about some of these issues? Reince Priebus will weigh in. We'll be right back. Thank you, panel. Great to have you all.